In this video, I'm going to discuss 5 fitness myths you need to stop listening to. I don't care who says it, because you're going to trust in me. So tune into the video. Let's discuss these 5 myths that you need to stop listening to, and I'll go through them a little bit, and it'll be a short video, but straight to the point, straight to what you need to know. So tune in. I'll see you on the other side. 5 myths you need to stop listening to in terms of your fitness, all right? Number 1, switching to high reps for fat loss. There's something about people saying that if you wanna lose weight or fat loss, you need to switch to high reps. Why is that? Is that because they mean you get your heart up, or what is it exactly? I mean, there's cardio for that. We've discussed cardio in many of my videos, the benefits, the myths, the facts. Check those out. But switching to high reps for fat loss, it's a myth. Swapping carbs for fats means faster fat loss. That's not true. Knees over toes in squats must always be avoided. It's also not true. There's a measurement, and if you're working with a coach or personal trainer, they'll be able to see your mobility and where that is. It is true if you feel pain, okay? So don't go over your toes or your ankles, whatever the measurement is. It's usually over your ankles and then to your toes if you're in pain, okay? But knees over toes in squats is not always a must to be avoided. You're not losing fat due to starvation mode. So there's something about, if you are not losing fat, it's because you're actually too far into either fasting or a calorie deficit. And that doesn't always have to be the case, okay? I can understand where that's come from, because your body then says, okay, there's no more food around, I need to keep fat. But it's not true, okay? That there is an element of that in science, but in terms of fitness, if you're not losing fat, it's due to you being in starvation mode. That single-handedly is not true. And then the last one is the biggest one. Fasted cardio is the key to fat loss. These 5 things I know. So stop listening to the noise. I talk about the noise in social media and people that are not credible in what they say, but mainly just want to make things look amazing, sell a brand, whatever it is. Too often I see people influenced by these myths and annoying fitness myths that just won't seem to go away. And I can understand why, but I can understand why people follow it, because to be honest with you, I've been there. And this is what got me into coaching and really just brightening up the camera, and it's gone a bit too bright. 1 second. I'll just leave it because you're trying to watch and I'm fiddling with the camera. Okay. So yeah, it's just, you then don't know what to follow. You follow different things, different people. And the annoying thing is then you come back and you then ask someone who's not even credible, what do you think about this? So you follow someone and then you come back and ask someone else who you're not even sure is credible about it, and then they might say something else and you start following that. So it's really important to make sure the fact that you're watching certain things and believing in it and not really knowing who is credible, but you're just looking at the noise, is annoying as a credible coach, because individuals that don't know what they're talking about should not really be selling these things to people. People need to be educated, because people that are seeking this advice are really serious about achieving whatever they want to achieve in their life, and they need help, they need guidance. So let's break these ones down, where I said one about the high reps. It seems to be something that is pushed all the time. Anyone know a power lift? Do you know a power lifter? They lift very low reps. They also compete in weight classes, which they diet for to compete in. You know what they do to diet down? It's not high reps. and they keep lifting like a power lifter. They just look at their calorie count and their deficit and what they need to tweak. High reps can have positives, and there's a video I have which tells you about how many exercises in your workout you should have, but there's another video where I discuss how many reps or how to structure your exercise within a time limited period of time. Check that out. If I am able to remember, I'll link it, but it's all in the physical health or fitness playlist. You'll find it there. But high reps can have positive times for calorie expenditure, but it doesn't mean it's any way a key factor. So that's really important for you to get that last sentence. Now, swapping the carbs for fats means faster fat loss. I've heard this so many times. I've been there, and then you get scared of carbs. I saw a big nutrition page post on this yesterday, and it was, again, it's a bit scary because, you know, if I wasn't a coach, I'd be following it, you know, like I was in my early years. Your macro breakdown does not determine the rate of fat loss. Calories do. Swapping carbs for fats is the same result as calories. Has the same result for you if the calories stay the same. So whether you swap fat or carbs, and the calories are the same, it's the same result. Just water weight will drop initially because carbs can hold a bit of water, which is not fat loss, and is not going to be always that you're, you know, dropping water loss because you're having more fats than carbs. The other one, knees over toes is bad. How this won't die, I really don't know, but I can understand at the same time because it's about proper alignment. But have you seen any good squatters or Olympic lifters? Their knees travel forward, you can see it. And the key here is not to have pain. It's the key here is to make sure your posture, your stability, your form, your foundation, your technique is 100%. That's the main thing. No pain. If you have pain in your knees, you need to adjust. You might even not need to avoid stuff that is excessively heavy on the knees. But when the knees will pass the toes to squat deep, is not a problem. And it's an essential for a deep squat, actually. You can't, I don't know about you, but I can't get deep enough in a squat without going over my ankles. And sometimes you'll reach your toes. So it's also perfectly healthy if you have no previous issues to do so. Remember, key is discomfort and pain to know how far you should go. And sometimes it's tweaking your squat, your hip stand, your leg stand as well. If you've got a coach, they'll be able to help you in this. If not, tweak your leg stance. There's some people that are narrow squatters, some people that are wide squatters, so it really depends. Starvation mode is why you can't lose fat. There's no such thing as this. There's a bit of science around conserving fat, but it's not, you're not losing fat because you're not in a deficit. That's basically it. If starvation mode was a thing, people in starving places like we've seen in POWS, lost of tremendous amount of weight, they didn't go into starvation mode, you know, and they're very slim and they've got hardly any fat on them, but as you can see, they're having a very low fat percentage has not been because of starvation mode. They've got less calories intake, and starvation mode is definitely not, I'm trying to be very careful in what I say, is not the reason why you're not losing fat. Okay, it's about your calorie out and calorie in. Fasted cardio is better for fat loss. Now, I know where this comes from as well, but it's not superior to a fed state cardio, all right? If you like to do it, then do it, but it's not going to lead to superior body fat loss just because you haven't had breakfast and doing cardio. your energy source being used in cardio does not equal necessarily actually the body fat loss. The reason this comes up is because when you start cardio, when you do your cardio, you first burn your carbs and your sugar. After you've burnt that, you go into fat. So what a lot of people, if you fasted, you should have burnt by the time you fast some of your sugar and your carbs by that time, so that you can go into the fat, right? But at the same time, don't forget you're replenishing yourself. So if you're doing a fasted stated cardio, there might be some benefits, but overall it's not going to lead to more fat loss because you're replenishing. And then in the end, if you're both doing the same amount of calorie outburn and calorie intake, it's more or less going to be the same. But you can see how cardio, fasted cardio for fat loss is key. It's because it's likely you get during your cardio session, you're more tapping into fat loss, but also all depends how long you've been fasting, etc., etc. All right, and how long then how much you replenish yourself. I mean, if you're going to do fasted cardio, but you end up eating 200 more calories, which can happen, by the way, because you get more hungry, then if you were doing fed cardio, you're not really benefiting. So can you see how filling in the grey and putting the actual facts to these myths is really important? And I chose a variety of stuff here around reps, around the exercises, around diet and nutrition, around form, so that you can take away a few things as opposed to just focusing on maybe diet, etc. I could go on a bit more with the myths, but we're going to keep it at that for this one. And I hope it clears up some things for you. And if you did like this, give it a like, subscribe to the channel, help support the channel. Let me know if you want me to cover any content. If you've got any questions, more than happy to answer them. Comment them in the description box, in the comment box below. And everyone, have a lovely day wherever you are in the world, and I'll see you in our next video. Bye for now.